We've been in business over the last 11 years, and we've been training on the area of wealth creation. We believe that there is a gap in our education system and even in our society, where the tools to function in a capitalist society, the tools to function in the world where there seems to be some knowledge out there that folks are using to generate and create wealth, and the wealthy are becoming wealthier, and those who are struggling with poverty are becoming poorer. That the gap is just increasing. And we realized at Centonomy, and it's something that we're really passionate about, is that gap can be closed with two things: knowledge and purpose. Knowledge and purpose. Knowledge is, first of all, there is no secret to this thing called wealth creation. There's no secret. The information to function and create wealth in this society, in a capitalist society around the world, is the same. The opportunities may be slightly different, and that's what you can see if you've been watching the news in the US. The problem sometimes is that certain groups are not given the same opportunity. And we continue to pray and stand with our brothers in the US even over this time. However, in Africa, look around you, you are the majority, my Black brothers and sisters. So the opportunity then is the same. But what the problem becomes is that the knowledge is not the same around the board. If you come from a wealthy background, the likelihood is that you have got a better education, you've had opportunities in terms of exposure to different businesses, how business works, how work experience is. You probably have networks that will get you a good job. So there's an issue there with knowledge because of exposure. And so at Centonomy, our job is to build that exposure so that you begin to realize that the secrets for wealth creation there's no secret. It is simply how do we begin to manage the money that we have, ensure that we're investing it, and we are focused heavily on growing our wealth in terms of how much we're able to earn. How do you do that? And that's a big part of what we cover in the campus, Centonomy Campus Edition. We spend a lot of time talking about how we begin to get cash flow into our pocket. The main ways that we do so are through a job. So how do we get the best job so that there's cash flow getting into our pocket? How do we become valuable in the workforce? We talk about that. We also talk about, for many of us in this room, and I'm so excited to see all the entrepreneurs who are going to be sharing with us this morning, is through starting a business. And the rules and the skill set of running a business is another area in which we don't have a lot of information. I see campus students, even like me, leaving school, and we have an idea of how business works, but we really don't know how business works. For me, one of the biggest revelations was that the business money is not my money. I may own the business, but the cash flows in that business are not mine. Shock on me, even the profit that the business makes is not mine, even though I own that business. I know that sounds like it's so odd, but it is true. When you look at companies declaring profits, I'm sure you've read in the newspapers, you see them declaring profits. All those profits do not go into the pockets of the shareholders, no. It becomes another tool, a tool called a dividend. And a dividend is a portion of the profits that the company makes, and that's what goes into the pocket of the shareholders. But for many of us, we start our businesses, and all the money in the business is ours, because we've been taught a business about profit, and if you own the business, the profit is yours, so we don't understand the cash flows within a business. And those are the kind of things that we talk about in the Centonomy Campus Edition. We also do not understand, for instance, if business is not your direction, that's okay, that's all right. You don't have to be in business in order to create wealth. But the money that you're making, the money that you're creating from your job, how are you investing it? How are you managing it? How are you planning for the future? So in the class, we even talk about things like debt, because here's the thing, for most of us, let me just do a quick test, both on Facebook and here on Zoom. I want you to just type in the chat box, if you don't mind, below in the comments on Facebook. One of the first things that we often, and our aspirations that we would like to get and often borrow for once we get our job, our first job. What's one of the first things that you would like to buy when you get a good, steady job and you can be able to get a good income and borrow? So Christine says a house. Great. Is Christine the only one? Okay, a house. Land, a piece of land, a car, property, a car, a house. So this is amazing. And this is what I find so interesting. It has been drilled into us, in Africa especially, drilled into our minds that you need to own your own home, okay? That's it. And so what tends to happen is that a lot of us begin to put so much effort, number one, into owning a home, and can even take a mortgage for many years to own our home. And what happens is that all our assets end up locked in the ground in the house in which we live. You can see the aspirations coming through. And what we found is that if you never invest in other things, you might have your own home, but you are cash poor. We're finding a generation that is currently right now retiring into their own homes, but they have no money. In fact, it is you, the young people in this place, who are actually sending the money home, taking care of the pet. So the financial freedom was not the house. A house is a good investment, but the house is not financial freedom. Financial freedom is having enough cash flows into your pocket to survive and to live the life that you want. And we'll talk about that as we go along. The second one that you see here that is most popular, thanks for everyone on Facebook as well, you just see is a car. And it's because a car is a symbol of freedom. It gives you status. It also gives you convenience. But a car is not an asset. A car, first of all, you'll be paying a high cost on the loans, and we talk about how loans work in the program. Not only that, but the car loses value. Not only that, but it also takes out money from your pocket, fuel, servicing, spare parts, all those things. It never puts money in your pocket. And this, you can see, if our mindset is already in that space, then we're not building wealth. We're actually trying to keep up with, we want the image of wealth, but not true wealth. So we talk about that in the Centonomy Campus Edition. We are on a mission to shift your mindset so that purposeful people like you who have showed up for a session like this, who have taken time out of your busy schedule to be here, can be able to create wealth and live abundantly. So as I said, my name is Waithaka Gatumia, and I'll be taking you through this, but I'm so excited because we have our first speaker. I can see her already somewhere in the room. Angie, if you can switch on your camera and we can get started. Angie Obwaka, she's an HR consultant. She's also the co-founder and HR lead of NAMCA Consultancy. She will share a couple of insights on how young adults can grow and advance their careers while you are still young. Angie, I think I saw you somewhere in the room. Are you there?
Yes, I am here, Waithaka.
Very good. Thank you so much. Did you want to share your screen? I saw that like you had a presentation you'd like to share.
No, I don't.
You actually don't, no problem.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us. We have a couple of minutes, and the last time I heard you, I've got my notebook here. I am ready, even though apparently I'm no longer youth. I have my notebook and pencil.
Are you no longer youth?
Why imagine I've been kicked out officially. The government no longer
identifying with the youth. Then let me tell you, you can be youth as long as you want. It's the state of the heart, they say.
In my heart, I'm youthful, as you can see, but the government will not give me a loan as a youth. So let me stop trying to claim things that are not mine. Angie, please share your insights. Guys are waiting to hear.
Fantastic. Waithaka, just quick question. Will you monitor the questions so that I just focus on speaking?
No
and
problem,
then feel free to interrupt me at any point.
I'll do that.
Okay, Fantastic. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's session. My name is Angie. Full name, government name is Angela, but I prefer Angie because Angie is a lot less intimidating. And when you work in HR, people think that you're intimidating just because of the job that you do. People say, you're in HR, you're the one to hire and fire people. Wendo kufuta watu kazi, unaribu economy. But that is not what we do in HR. Yeah.
Angie, I have to stop you.
Yes. Why?
Remember, we have people from other countries, so you have to translate. You can't speak only in Swahili. You have to make sure. We don't want to lose anyone.
No problem, no problem. So pretty much people think that people in HR are the hire and fire people, that we're the ones ruining the economy because we're, kicking people out of the workplace. But that's not it. So I am an HR professional. I have been in HR for close to 12 years now, but I am still part of the youth. I am not with Waithaka, who is out of the bracket. I'm still there and owning my youthfulness. I have been in different sectors of HR. So I've done HR in the traditional sense, so into personnel management and doing payroll, hiring and firing. And then I moved into academia. So I was a lecturer for a number of years. I lectured everything in management from introduction to management, HR, strategic HR, and I did a lot of research there. And then I moved back into full-time HR practice, and I have led HR in a number of organizations, including an international NGO that was over 17 different countries. And earlier this year, I stepped out of formal employment into entrepreneurship, which, as Waithaka shared, lots of people are going that way, but I personally never thought I'd be an entrepreneur. Just the thought of it was intimidating, but here I am, because that's how life goes. And it's an exciting journey. And in my work, I help people, whether they're students, they're full-time professionals, or organizations, to be able to be best aligned with where they need to be. Because my whole take is, you only have one shot at life. You don't want to spend years on end just being depressed and struggling and stressed about your work, because that's not what you are made for. I believe that's not what you're made for. And there's space for everyone to find the thing that they can thrive in. So that's what I do. I do CV writing, cover letters, I do trainings, team buildings, etc. All that wonderful stuff, which you can find out about later. But thank you so much, Waithaka, for having me here. I'm excited and passionate, as you know. And for everyone who is joining, please know that we have this wonderful gift in my family. We speak very fast. And everyone speaks fast except my dad. So everyone who knows me keeps up with my speed. But if I'm going too fast, there's something you didn't quite catch, please type and I'll be happy to just run through that again. So today we're talking about seizing opportunities while you are young. And as I was thinking about what things can I share that can be mind-blowing from the perspective of HR, because yes, being in HR, we see lots of people graduating, coming into the workspaces, having good or bad interactions, negative interactions. And there's lots of things that I thought about in all of that I could be able to share today. And so I hope that they will be useful. I want to share three main things. There are three main things that I want to share. The first one is, there is room for you. If you want to seize opportunities when you're young, you need to know, you need to believe that there is room for you. I know that a lot of engagement with young people nowadays, or younger people nowadays, lots of people have internalized a lot of what the media is saying, a lot of what the government is saying, a lot of what other people share. And there's a lot of negativity around, okay, there are no jobs, okay, this career is not working, okay, this, you can never thrive in this if you are this, for example. But I'm here to dispel all of that and say, number one, for you to be able to seize opportunities while you're young is to believe and to know and to understand that there is room for you. There is space for you to be able to bring impact into the workplace. And when I'm talking about there is room for you, I'm talking about your personality. So some people will tell me, oh, I want to go into marketing, but I'm not really an extrovert, you know? But I tell them, then you don't have to not go into marketing just because you're not an extrovert. Not every marketer is an extrovert. And in marketing, there's so much in marketing. There are the marketers who are like frontline marketers, who you'll find in supermarkets and stores doing one-on-one sales, the ones who are doing pitches. But then there are also marketing people, marketing professionals, whose entire job is doing business research, is doing competitor intelligence, finding out all that information. So your personality can still thrive in marketing. It doesn't have to be in the front line of marketing. So that's one example. Another example is a particular career that you choose. So somebody would say to me, a young person would say to me, I'm really interested in doing accounting, but I mean, now with the computer and technology, I mean, can I really thrive as an accountant? And I'm like, yes, please, because the more businesses are opening up, like me, I am not an accountant. So in my business, I need an accountant. And there's a part of me, though I embrace technology, I still want a human being to explain to me what these numbers mean, you know? So there's space for you in accounting. One of the things that we talked about in the course, the previous cohort, I think it was, with the Centonomy Campus Hub, was about marketable courses versus courses that you're passionate about. So some people are just like, oh no, which is the best course to do that I'll make the most money? But it's not about that, because you can do the best course, but you're not that good. So you just get a C and you just barely graduate. You've just stumbled into this career, you know, and you're not thriving, you're not excelling in it. The best career for you is the career that you're good at, that you're wired for, okay? So basic point, back to the point, there is room for you. There's room for your personality. There is room for your career choice. There's room for your experience. Because I tell people, one of the things that's really awesome in job interviews is getting to know you as a person. So the fact that you were born in whatever it is, location, and that you traveled a lot, or that you had this particular background or this exposure, that matters. And that is not something to be ashamed of. It's something that will actually be a vantage point for you in terms of getting a particular job. So that's point number one. How to seize opportunities while you're young is understand, believe, and know that there is room for you. And can I tell you guys that it's not, I don't want to sound like I am saying that, you know, I know there's a lot of conversation now that what you put out in the universe and what you believe, that's what's going to come back. I don't want to simplify to that level, but I want to tell you guys that if your mindset is that there is room for you, that you can step into the space and you can be able to effect change or do something, can I tell you that you will find opportunities? Can I tell you that opportunities will find you? Can I tell you that you will see opportunities where people didn't see opportunities? Waithaka, I think you were speaking to somebody before we started who was saying that he's differently abled and he was looking for opportunities. Let me tell you the number of tenders, the number of job opportunities that there are specifically for people who are differently able, specifically for people who are women, specifically for people who are from rural backgrounds, etc.
For
those
youth.
things are there. Exactly, for youth. Some things are just like, if you're not of this age, if you've had to out, Waithaka out.
Out.
Yeah, so let me tell you, there's room for you and you will be able to see those opportunities. That's number one. Point number two on how to seize opportunities is that you need to learn from everybody and anybody, okay? I got a question, Esther shared a question with me on Wednesday about, somebody had asked a question. They're in campus and they are looking for, you know, internship/volunteer opportunities, and they said, you know, they come from a disadvantaged background and they don't have connections, so can they really get a job? Can they get an internship? And I was just like, this is a great question, because I'm always telling people this. In our minds, we have to change our minds about what kind of places we want to work, that kind of thing, okay? So maybe I've studied journalism, or I'm studying journalism. The only place to work is not Nation Media House or Standard Group or Royal Media Services. I mean, that's not the only place. There are lots of different, smaller organizations or smaller media houses, or even people in your local sphere who you can be able to learn from or plug into to be able to learn from. So if you are a student and you're studying whatever topic it is, if you are fortunate enough to live with somebody, either your parents or your siblings or somebody else who is in the workspace, they can teach you certain things about that particular topic. So for example, before I did HR, I did not really know what HR was about. I didn't even know I wanted to go into HR. And I Well, I lived with my parents, and my parents worked in different organizations. And so once I started doing personnel management, that's what it was at the beginning, I would come home and I'd ask my mom, so we're talking to these people and this is how HR is being done or personnel management is being done at our organization. You know, does that make sense to you? Because you've been in the workspace longer than me. How does that look like in your organization? So you can be able to tap into that. So learning from the people around you. So you learn from your family members, you learn from even the kiosk. Guys, do you know kiosks are businesses? Do you know that? Do you know that a kiosk is a business? Please. With capital and all the other facets of things that make up a business, right, Waithaka? I mean, I think that can classify.
Yes, it is. And we're beginning to see so many more growing over time if we pay attention. And what you're saying is brilliant. Learn from everyone around you. Learn even the mistakes they might be making so you don't make the same.
Exactly. You know, the thing about going to a tertiary organized institution, whether it's university or college or polytechnic, it's sometimes the Bible says something like knowledge puffs up, okay? So it makes you just have a big head. You just know so much, but that you can't learn from people. You need to constantly be learning. Learn from the people who are in the workplace. Learn from somebody at a kiosk or a small enterprise. Learn from even community-based organizations, churches, and other volunteer or NGOs, etc. There are systems that work in that place. So an NGO that serves, works with refugees doesn't only do that. They have an accounting wing, they have an HR wing, they have a marketing wing. So all of those are opportunities that you can plug in for your internship or for volunteering or for just learning, because sometimes it's just being around that space. It's just asking questions. And that's where you can also find opportunities for volunteering and even finding jobs, because somebody asked, you know, okay, once I'm done, like, how do I get these big jobs? Or how do I even get experience? I don't want the work, I don't want the money, I just want the experience. If you volunteer at a church, you volunteer at the prisons, you volunteer at the police force, let me tell you, they'll find something to do. All these institutions, all these places are always looking for somebody who can help them with their work. And in turn, you get to learn what is there. So mindset. Learn from everybody and anybody, okay? The other thing is, once you get into university, or if you're already in university, learn from your lecturers. Your lecturers all have friends and contemporaries who are in the workplace, who are in the industry. They can be able to give you tips about, okay, apply here, don't apply here. This is a relationship we have. If you go to the alumni office, if you learn from people who have graduated, and when you have opportunities like joining Centonomy, for example, plug in and learn, because I mean, what do you have to lose? You just have a lot more in terms of exposure. I hope we're still together. Everybody's still together.
We are.
Fantastic. And then the last point is, you need to, another thing that you need to do to seize opportunities while you're young is to listen to yourself, or have times of reflection, guys. One of the things that I'm always telling people nowadays, one of the lost arts that we have is reflection. Times of reflection, times of just sitting by yourself, you know, just to think, what do I like? What don't I like? The things you liked when you were 5 are not the things you like when you're 15, not the things you like when you're 25. The things that you're interested in or given to or good at, you know, when you're a child. I have a 2-year-old, and I mean, I celebrate everything, even the things which are not good. I mean, she paints something and I'm just like, my gosh, this is Picasso, you know, or, you know, she plays an instrument, the banjo, very badly, but I'm just like, okay, she might grow into it, but I celebrate everything. But you know, the more that we grow, the more we realize, actually, I'm not really good as a musician. I'm not really good in architecture because I can't draw to save my life. I like it, but maybe that's not my thing. So you need to take time, regular periods of time, for you to take stock of yourself, or what your giftings are, what you're interested in, to be able to guide you in terms of making career choices, in terms of deciding, okay, you know, like Waithaka said, there's an issue with our education system, because examination is just one way, one size fits all kind of thing. But at some point you might realize, actually, this is not working for me and I need to go into business, or this is not what I enjoy about this particular career, okay? Or this is not what I enjoy about, and this doesn't give me joy, okay? So I'm not just saying that every time if you go to a class and it's not exciting you and you're not feeling the lecturer, that you quit. That's not what I'm saying. Let's back it up. What I am saying is, as you're doing your course, so you're registered for accounting or public relations, advertising, I don't know, all my examples are usually around these topics. What other careers do people have? Forensics,
professionals,
else.
look at them, lawyers, doctors.
Exactly, everything.
It's Angie, I think you're rebelling against our folks. Our parents are the ones who used to tell us engineering, medicine, yes,
and law.
that's why you've forgotten them completely. But go ahead.
That's out of my mind. Yeah. So when you're enrolled for this course, just because you studied medicine doesn't mean that you will like everything in medicine. Okay, you will do lots of different courses from first year all the way to third, fifth, sixth. Some careers it's 7 years. May the Lord help you. But for, most people it's around 2 to 4 years. Okay. So as you study all those things, pay attention to the courses that actually excite you, the courses that make you feel like, wow, like, you mean I can do this thing and it can impact people? You mean I can do this thing and it can make a difference? I mean, or just makes you, it makes you come alive, like it's a joy to study it. It's a joy to even prepare for the exam, no matter how hard it is. There are people who, you do the same, maybe become degree. There's some people who will just cry at marketing. In my undergrad, I did HR and tourism, but I did some units of marketing. What? I did not enjoy marketing. I did not enjoy it at all. In fact, it didn't matter because I did I think 3 units of it. And I was just like, my goodness, I don't know what these people are doing. Why are they always happy and bubbly? Or maybe the reason marketers like to talk to us is because they don't really like what they do, in terms of what their job description is. Pay attention. Yeah, my point is pay attention to all the different subjects that you do. Make a note of what you actually are interested in, because sometimes it could just be one area. So in accounting, for example, there are lots of people who finish accounting and they go into auditing. There are others who finish and just go into credit and credit control only because they want to be collecting people's money. There are people who do marketing and all they do, like I said, is research. There are people who do HR, and because they're not maybe a people person, they decide they only want to go into benefits and tax and payroll, that kind of, they just want to focus on that. So figure out what out of all of that you find life in and joy in, and then begin to focus on that, because that's going to really, really help guide your choices as you finish university, or as you finish your post high school qualification, to be able to go into that. So for example, let me give you an example. When I was in my undergrad, actually, that's how I ended up in academia. When I was in my undergrad, we had, of course, one of my units was economics. I think it was introduction to microeconomics. And we had our lectures, and then we had tutorials, right? And in the tutorial, the first 3 tutorials, the person who was taking the tutorials was our lecturer, who was a brilliant man. He's a professor from Namibia, and he was brilliant. And his lectures, were interesting, but he had these dry jokes. But, me, I used to just laugh at them. Me, I'm the kind of person, if you come to an interview and I'm there on the panel, me, I'll laugh at all your jokes. I'll nod, I'll affirm you, because I'm just like, whoa, yeah, you're putting your best foot forward. Let me just, be there for you. So, I was a good student, and I enjoyed economics. But when we went to the tutorial, it was a disaster, because he was teaching as if he was lecturing. He was teaching at a very high level because he was a professor. And imagine he's taking a class of first years. And so his jokes, his thinking is so way above everyone else that people are just they don't get it. But at the end of every tutorial, I would be getting it because I really like economics. I'd be getting it, but then I'd spend 45 minutes after each tutorial explaining to my classmates what we just did in class. And lots of my classmates did not like the course. They did not like the tutorial. They didn't understand anything. But every time after I'd sat with them for 45 minutes after class, they were getting stuff, and people started doing better. And then I thought to myself, you know what? It's such a shame that this is such good content. He's such a brilliant lecturer, but there's a break in communication. When he speaks, people are not receiving, because how he's communicating is not being watered down, watered down, it's not being broken down for people to be able to understand. And that's what led me, by the time I was in the end of my second year, I applied now to be one of the tutors, because that was something that I figured out. I was I didn't ever think that I'd teach. I never thought that I would train other people, but it seems like I enjoy it. People understand what I'm saying. I'm able to translate between what the lecturer is saying to the students. And that's how I started. I think I did 2 years of tutoring. And then after that, I was invited into research, and then became a lecturer after that. But that's how I discovered it, by listening to myself, reflecting and being like, you know, so you need to be a student of yourself to be able to figure out what it is that, you know, makes you tick and what it is that doesn't work for you. Waithaka, I think that's it from me.
Very good. So quick summary, because some guys have been joining a bit later. You had 3 main points for people to go through. Number 1, there is
room for everyone. There is room
Thank
for
you.
everyone. There's room for you to prosper, room for you to succeed.
Number 2
is that you need to learn from everyone, both in school and outside school, from the neighborhood community organizations. You need to learn from everyone. And point number 3 is that you need to be a student of yourself. You need to listen to what makes you tick, what makes you thrive and have joy, and be able to plug into that in your schoolwork, but also around in your environment.
As always, Angie, amazing. Angie, but how can we put learning from a kiosk in our CVs? I mean, are you being serious?
I am being 100% serious. That kiosk has a name. Does that kiosk have a name? Because usually it's not just called kiosk, okay?
Like
it's called
here, Mama Tony's down here.
Mercy Ventures or Mercy Thingy Enterprises. And that's what you write in your CV, okay? You write the name of the business. I do CVs for people who have started their own business and they're just selling baby clothes. So it's like Mama J's Baby Shop. And in the CV, we'll write Mama J's Enterprises, and we'll talk about the things that they did which are relevant to business. They source, they procure clothes, they do marketing, they do logistics, etc. So you put the name of the business in as the title of, you know, where you worked or where you helped out.
That's right. One more question, because we have 1 minute left. Angie, you talked about doing, this is Kimani Kibuthu. I think that's, I got it. And Angie, you talked about doing what you're strong in, I guess strong at, leveraging on your strengths. How do you know what your strengths are? I'm really passionate about several things, and I don't know if you remember, oh no, let me not say remember, you're still youth. As a youth, you can be passionate about many things and what you're good at. However, I'm confused as to what should I focus on and what should I leave, you know? What can one do in such a situation? I feel you, Timothy.
And I think Waithaka can speak to that a bit more. But one of the things that helps is, which I don't have context for you, because I don't know if you're in university, you're just about to join, you've just graduated, etc. But as you go through different levels in life, then some things get filtered out. So you might feel like you're very passionate about accounting, you're passionate about HR. Personally, I was very good at accounting. Let me tell you, can I just brag a bit? I know I'm in HR, but I was really good at accounting. But when I did my undergrad, I understood that accountants only stayed in one room talking to no one, and I'm not built like that. I'm built for relationship with people. And so I was just like, I'm not because of, you know, because this other one outweighs just because I'm good at it and just because I like it doesn't mean that that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. So as you go through different courses, if you're just in university, as you go through different courses, then you'll be able to filter out what do you really like versus what, you know, the things that you like versus things that you can do. So or rather, let me say, there are many things you can do, but not very many things that you should do, you know? So that's how you weigh between those. Another thing is the whole thing about learning from other people. There are people who have gone ahead of you. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to spread yourself thin. Speak to people, speak to your lecturer, speak to family members who are in the same career, or people, family friends in the same career. Speak to, in courses such as these, in forums such as these, speak to other people who are further ahead further ahead than you, and they will be able to give you advice. So that's what I'd say, is that maybe take self-reflection and then be able to filter.
Brilliant. As always, you're so wonderful and able to highlight some of these things. One of the things I found for myself, don't even complicate it more. If you find that you're passionate about a couple of different things, pick one. And just pick, like if you can even throw it into a random hat, pick one out and try, you know. And as you pursue it, it'll become clearer and clearer which ones work for you and which ones don't. There's no issue with that. Angie, as always, the energy, the life.
One last thing.
2 seconds.
Last thing. Okay, last thing. Just on top of that is just remember that life is long, you know, so you can start with this one, as Waithaka said, you pick this one and you do it, and then another time when life will come and then you'll do something else and you'll do something else. I mean, nowadays on average, people have at least 4 to 5 different careers. So just because doing all 5 of them now doesn't mean you won't do them in your lifetime. You'll just do one, and then you will be able to move on to something else when the time
Angie,
comes.
my first job was a radio disc jockey. Can you imagine that?
I actually can.
There you go. I was a DJ on radio. So, I mean, you never know what's going to come in your life. So thank you so much, Angie, as always. God bless you. Since you're still on the call in this Zoom room, please go into the chat box. Emma was really trying to reach out to you. Maybe you can DM her and just see if you can answer some of the questions directly in that space. Also, check out on Facebook. There are a couple of questions you could be responding to even as you go ahead. But thank you so much.
All right.
Take care. Bye. Take care. Wow. That's just the start, guys. That's just the start. Next up, we have Shamim Nabuuma. I hope I've pronounced it correctly. You correct me if I'm wrong. She's the founder and executive director of Chil Artificial Intelligence Lab in Uganda. But we brought her on board because of this. Watch this. At age 24, she is a Forbes Africa Top 30 Under 30. I'm telling you, we brought the best here for you guys. And has been endorsed by the Tony Elumelu Foundation. She is passionate about helping women survive cancer like her. She will be sharing up insights on what young people need to know about getting into business and the lessons that she has gained in her entrepreneurship journey. Shamim, if you're in the room, I need to see your face as well, even so that we can have a good discussion along the way. Are you there? I think I saw, yes, excellent. Shamim, we're ready for you. Hey, there we go. Hi.
Hi.
How
can you hear me?
I can.
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good, thank you. Would you mind just lowering your camera a little bit? We want to see more of your face than the roof. Ah, there we go. There we go. Thank you so much. Tell us your story. Tell us, give us some insights from your life. How in the world did you become a Forbes top 30 under 30, age 24? My ambitions, how did you do it?
Thank you for this opportunity to speak to fellow young people. My name is Nabuuma Shamim, as they have said. I'm the founder and executive director of Chil Artificial Intelligence Lab. Yes, I am a Forbes 30 under 30, class of 2020.
Wow, wow.
I going to begin part of my story, what really made me to, okay, the story for Forbes 30 under 30 is coming, yes, but what really happened to me is what we go through when we are young usually stimulates what we want to be in the future. Because you can imagine, this is Shamim, the young Shamim, I was those days, and I wanted to become someone important. So here comes tragedy, falls my way, and then I lose my mom at a tender age of 13. So I ask, what is the problem? Because I remember I was still in school and my auntie comes for me and tells me, come to the Cancer Institute, come and see your mother. I'm like, okay, what is the problem? I reach there and I see all people are in pain. I'm like, I think this woman may go in a very short time. So when I reached there, she tells me, I'm in my last days. They cannot treat me. I have cancer. But all I wanted is, I wanted you to be someone important, because me, I did not make it while I was young, but you can make it. So, okay, what they've told us is that we did not screen for this cancer in time, but if you had screened for it in time, we would have survived. So what I believe is, please, my daughter, you know those words, study hard, look for extending services to such women, because all of them are these low down women. They do not have the money, but if they had it, they would look for services and get, and get treatment. So with all that, yes, she passed on. But then as I grew up, also remember, cancer is it is genetic a bit. So when I was at campus, at medical school, that is when I saw something was weird with me. And then that's when I realized that I needed to go to the hospital, go and do more tests. And that's when I realized that they found that I had that early breast cancer. I'm like, okay, if my mother had it, that means it's something genetic. I should hurry and, you know, save lives. So that is when I hurried, and then I survived. So, you know, Angie was talking about that when you were young, your dreams are different. As you keep on growing, your dreams keep changing. So whatever situation you are in pushes you to do something. I'm speaking in the language of entrepreneurship because it is the one that I am in, I understand, and I believe is the way to go. Yes. So while at campus, I started Chil. Those days it was called Community Dental and Reproductive Health. So what I used to do is we used to provide dental and reproductive health services. That is basically we used to do the cancer screening services to the women here on the reproductive part of it, and then for the dental part of it. But then I realized as time went on that very many people lose their lives to cancers, and since I am one of them that survived, very many died, so why don't I have to look at that? So that is when I put in more my time, whereby we used to have a mobile van. We go and camp like in a village. So camp in a village, and then we allow those women come for checkups, tell them about how they are doing, inform them, educate them that look here, this is not like witchcraft. This is not like this. You inform people. People need to be informed. If someone is not aware, they can have their own thoughts. But if you keep educating people, you're going to change so many people. So that is how we began. And for entrepreneurship, you don't have to begin so big. You say, I have to first have this amount of money and then begin this kind of business. I mean, you begin from where you are. From where you are is where people will find you. Because people say, let me first study and then finish this. Yes, you can study while doing business, you know?
Yep.
Because remember, everyone has 24 hours in a day, but it depends how do you utilize those 24 hours in a day. Can you tell me that all the 24 hours in a day you're going to be reading books? No, you're going to read for some time, you're going to study for some, and then you're going to have that free time. So you have the free time, you have the time for studying, but then you look for that time, you're like, okay, I love to do this. When you look at entrepreneurship, is like we see things the same way everyone is seeing them. But for an entrepreneur is someone who sees something and then sees it in a different way and tries to make that thing active. For example, you can be in a community and then realize that everyone is selling, let me say like in a kiosk, and people are selling tomatoes, the onions and all that. You realize when it takes like 2 days, 3 days, their tomatoes are going to get spoiled. But everyone just overlooks that and says, okay, because you realize people are not going to have those refrigerators because these are the low down women. They do not have that money to come and then maybe. So you as an entrepreneur, you don't have to just leave that opportunity there, you know. You have to come in and say, okay, what if we come up with something that is going to help this down woman? What if we come up with something that is made of maybe solar that can maybe try to provide, you know, the cold mechanism so that these crops cannot get spoiled, so that this something cannot get spoiled. So as people are at university, they would tend to say, we are studying, we are doing this, we are doing that. Yes, we've all been at university and we're all studying so many different things. But what I would want to tell every entrepreneur out there, yes, we are all young, but it is the way you utilize your time. Time is a very big factor here. You know, people be on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and all that, and all doing different. But ask yourself, yes, this is social media. How am I making myself constructive using this? Post something that is going to create someone to come and ask, so what are you doing? What is this? What has made you come up with this? What, you know, someone asks, why are you doing this? Instead of someone just posting and maybe say, this is what, this is all that. We all have different passions, but we have to look for a way of posting or doing something that will try to improve our lives day by day. Yeah, and understand that I also did not begin from where I am. The fact that I was chosen by Forbes 30 under 30 is really a very great thing. And yeah, but for you to be chosen, you have to first be doing something. They will not come to choose someone just because you've not done something about yourself. Because when you look at it, when we began this company in 2016, we began so small. We did not have that hope that one day I would reach the Forbes 30 under 30. Yes, I'm studying. Yes, I'm doing this. But what is that you do differently, that other people have not seen, that other people are just looking at it normally, that will strike the attention and someone says, hey, someone is doing some work here. Look here. This girl is doing something. Back then in 2016, nobody saw me. No one knew that I would do this. But as time went on, I went on winning awards. I remember I was in Nairobi for so many things. Radio University Forum, that was, I think, in Kenyatta University. We won an award in Japan. We participated in the Google Page Drive. I won an honorable mention in the Maasai Impact Award. I think that is a bit of Kenyan and all that. So we keep doing things because we want to change the lives of people that are down there. The lives of people that are, basically, yes, Chil does mostly the bit of the cancer, but also has some other companies it is running, the bit in agriculture. But where you begin from is where people first try to get to know you from.
That's right.
Let everyone, the advice I'd give to my fellow young people, the ones in university, let us begin from where you are. Yes, let me say studying accounting, you're studying this, yes, you're studying that, but what you love, what passion? It is passion that keeps us going. Entrepreneurship is not easy. It is full of ups and downs. Yeah. You make losses today, you make profits today, but you're like, okay, I have to move on, because if I do not move in, then who else will do it? You realize that the richest, the most wealthy people are all entrepreneurs. No one is having a job. You look at Antonio and you say, if he's paid this amount of money, I've never seen him in the list of the people that are the richest in the world. It is the head of the UN. So he's getting that money, but if you're an entrepreneur, you're making money. Money is like, if you're an entrepreneur, you're making money, you bring in money every day. You're not like someone who's waiting for salary at the end of the month. And by the time that salary is going to come, you're going to have so many things. Your child was sick, you go and borrow from this one. Wait, my dear, when my salary comes, I'll give you some money. Wait here. No, if you're an entrepreneur, you take the risk and say, okay, I'm going for this hot soup. Whatever it takes, I'm going for it, Yeah. So when you're telling people or these university students and everyone, you tell them that everything is possible. Yes. Someone's telling me about how do you not doubt yourself? Yes, I'm a female, and in this industry of technology that I am in, it is competitive, and it's mostly usually the men that are there. And when you invent something, I remember when I first made the bit of that automated consultation, the one for the cancer screening for women, everyone looked at me and is like, no, she cannot do it. She's a lady. How can she do it? And I faced so many people opposing me. It was really so bad. But I stood and said, okay, yes, if other people have done it, I can do it. And I believe in myself that it is me to change the world. It is me to do something like that. I don't have to first wait to take ages, consult from this person and this person, Let me begin with what I have. So that is when we began the bit of the artificial intelligence mobile application. It's not that I started technology. No, it is diversification. You sit in an environment, you see a problem, and you say, oh my God, so this is what I'm supposed to do. So if I get someone who knows something about artificial intelligence, because I have an idea of, if everyone like going to the hospital, you first have to speak to this chatbot and tell it, this is what I feel, and then to tell, okay, with the signs I've seen, let me say for COVID-19, for example, the chatbot have for COVID-19,
Yes.
If you have maybe like 4 symptoms, 1 symptom, 2, and 2, say, okay, you have to visit a doctor, you know, you have to go to the nearest health center. Yes, I have some background in the medical field. I know if someone is doing this, but then the medical field was not enough. The world is revolving, you know. So if the medical field is not enough, everyone is a doctor, everyone is a professor, but how are you going to come up and say, this is what I'm doing? Are you going to first wait for 80 years and say, this was a professor, this one did this? No.
You start where you are. Shamim, I have to stop you there. I want to give you a question that has come through here, because these people, your story is inspiring people. Let me ask you one quick question, if you don't mind. They're asking, now you have multiple businesses under the same name. How do you keep focused? Are you everywhere, or are you not focused? That's a question that's just come through here.
Oh, thanks for that question.
Yeah.
Yes, I have multiple businesses. But then when you have very many businesses, you look at this. There is division of work. You're not going to be here, and you're going to be here in Uganda, you're going to be in Nairobi, you're going to be in DRC. No, you divide the work and you say, I'm going to set up, there is a chief executive director, there is the board of directors, there is the manager who reports, there is a data person, there is an accountant who has to account what is taking place. There is this. So all those people, you know, when you're doing business, it is a circle of people who are doing their careers, the accountants, the doctors, and we all need each other in this, you know.
That's right.
So it is a combination of everyone, the managers. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So
One more
everyone
question.
in their careers, everyone, yes, you can study and do what you want.
Yes. Wonderful.
Let
One
me
more
finish
question.
this one.
Okay,
Yes,
no problem.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I was saying, like, no, it's short. I was saying that we all study and then name me your engineer and all that. But this entrepreneur is going to come and say, okay, I need an engineer here, there, and all that. And then he's going to come and give you a job. Look here, you are also intelligent. You're also innovative. So you can also look for or bring in people to come and do work. So this entrepreneur is thinking ahead, you know. So we all have to think of something, that's something, you know, something different. Start from where you are. Social media is there. Say this, that. People look for you.
Yes.
Hi.
I think someone switched on their mic by mistake. Yes, go ahead, finish up.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say is the entrepreneur is going to come and try to take that opportunity. You know, you are good at managing, you're good at your consultant, all that is going to come and say, please come here, tell us about this, teach my employees about this, teach my team about this. You're very informed about this. So they get the opportunities from they need each other. They try to get ways of making everything look better. They try to seize the opportunities around them, you know? Yeah. So you can ask some other question.
That's brilliant. Shamim, you're just such an inspiration on all fronts. The number of questions that are coming through, there are just too many. I want to ask, if you don't mind, some of them, if you can be able to look in the chat box there are some that are directed at you. You can be responding even as we move into the next section, and we'll come back to some of the questions as we go along. But thank you so much for joining us in this session. It's really been amazing.
Thank you so much also again for the opportunity to speak to everyone. And I would love to tell them that it's possible to make it to the Forbes 30 under 30. I mean, do what you can differently. People are looking for innovators. Do something differently and someone will come out. And for my fellow ladies out there, I know we can, you know, we can do it. Mean, everyone looks at us and says, you know, but you come up and say, this is me, this is how I'm going to do my thing, this is how I'm going to do my, you know, and yeah, you'll get there, you know. So I believe everyone can do it.
Yes. So
yeah,
I just wanted to say a huge thank you to you for your time, and you're an inspiration. I told you I'm a father of daughters, and so I know what it means when I hear a lady like you speaking, I get so excited because it means that there's someone out there to, really get that message out as far as what we're going to be doing here. So thank you one more time. God bless you. We're moving on now, and if we can get some time towards the end, we'll come back to some questions for you as well. Thank you so much, Shamim.
Okay, thank you so much.
I told you we have power-packed speakers today. Next, again, we're looking at amazing Africans around the world. Our next speaker is Wisdom Mawuli Parku. He's a founder of Majora Group in Ghana that cuts across different industries, education, travel, hospitality. He was also in the Forbes Africa Top 30 Under 30 in 2020, 26 years old, and is passionate about creating employment for youth and developing his country, Ghana, and Africa as a whole. He'll share lessons that he's gained as a young entrepreneur, how to take up business opportunities and to grow. So Wisdom, if you don't mind, I think I saw you join us shortly a couple of minutes ago. This is your time. Very good. Just there, your mic is on now. Now I'm just getting video is on. Great. Wisdom, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. Yourself?
Excellent. Thank you so much. Do you prefer Wisdom or Mawuli? Which name do you prefer? Which one? So that I.
Yeah, the Mawuli is my local name, but I think the Wisdom will do, since this is a global platform that I'm speaking to a whole lot of people all across Africa.
Thank you. Wisdom, you have an opportunity to inspire. We've got about 200 people in the room, actually 245 people on Zoom, and we've got quite a few hundred on Facebook as well. We're just waiting to listen to your insights on entrepreneurship. Give us hope. I mean, we're discussing this very, very interesting topic today about opportunities while we are young. How do we seize opportunities when we're young? And so I wanted you to see, how did you seize yours? I mean, top 30 under 30 Forbes, excellent stuff. Tell us more.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, sir. Yeah, when I was in my first year in the university, back in KNUST, I wanted to travel. I wanted to travel in my first year in the university. I wanted to travel to the United States of America, where I wanted to go and embark on this work and travel out there. So I consulted one travel and tour agency on campus as at that time for them to help me with the visa application process in order to facilitate my visa for me. So the whole thing came as a result of me wanting to travel, and I consulted a travel and tour company on campus, and things didn't go so well. So after I contacted them, I applied a visa. They guided me in the visa application process. I applied a visa at the embassy, but I was denied the visa. I was refused. So after the embassy refused my visa, I go to my hostel, decided to think about, so what did this travel agency did for me that as a student I couldn't do all by myself? So that was how the whole idea started. That was how I started Majora Group. Initially, I started it as Majora Travels and Educational Consult. So after things didn't go well, I had to devote more time. I had to do more research as to what I want to do now. So when my mates were studying, I did agribusiness management back in KNUST. When my mates were studying, I was running to Accra just to learn about how I can do airline ticketing, how I can apply school for students who want to study abroad, how I can do travel itineraries and all that. So at a very younger age of 21 was when I discovered this glorious life transforming opportunity that has turned my life around over the past years. So that was how come I started Majora Group.
It is glorious. You have to explain how glorious it is. We are not there in Ghana to know. So what made it so glorious as an opportunity?
Okay. One, in order for you to identify an opportunity, you have to be very observant in your environment. You have to be observant. You have to observe the new trends and patterns of doing things. Opportunities are there with us, but it's all up to us to observe new things or new ways of doing things. What is this company doing that you think they are not doing right? That's when opportunity comes in. Let me tell you this. Sales and marketing experts have concluded that anytime that customers or clients are dissatisfied about a business that they patronage, it is an opportunity for new managers as well as business owners. Anytime that people are dissatisfied about an opportunity or about a service that someone is rendering to them, that is when business owners and managers also become happy.
Yep.
In order for you to also identify opportunity, you also have to be a problem solver. So what problem are you even solving in your society? What problem is your company solving? When you come to Majora Travels or Majora Group, what we do is we assist people who want to travel abroad, honeymooners who want to travel on tour. We assist people in education application process. We have been accredited by 5 international institutions in Europe as well as Canada and US as their official academic recruitment partners in Africa. So that is the kind of problem we are solving currently. In order for you to also identify problem, you also have to look for gaps in the market. So what is this company doing that you think they are not doing right? What do you think the people in your community need that they are not getting, that you can render this service to them? That's how you can spot opportunity. So I would like to talk more about why I was listed as a Forbes Africa 30 under 30.
Please do.
Interesting. It all started when I registered my company back in July 2017. I registered my company in July 2017, the Majora Group I'm talking about. So the whole idea was I knew what I wanted to become at a very younger age. I knew I always wanted to own my business. I knew I wanted to become a business-minded people to also employ youth in my community and other places as well. So it all came as a result of me knowing what I wanted to become at a very younger age. So even initially, my parents were not in support of me.
Oh no.
Because I have completed school, I could have written application to seek for employment. And here was the case that I also wanted to start my own business. No parent will even agree, or most parents will even not agree to that, because some of my mates are medical doctors, some are engineers in the mining firms, some are bankers, and I wanted to start my own business. And even me wanting to start my business, I was very young and I wasn't having the financial muscle to start the business. So how did I even start Majora? It all came when I was doing my national service back in 2016. I was saving out of the little money that I was getting. I saved. I was earning less than $100, but I could receive my monthly salary and just purchase one computer because I knew I wanted to open my business just after completing school. So just after completing my service, I had secured an office. I had purchased my computers, but I was still not having money even to acquire my travel and tour license, because I'm a travel and tour consultant here in Ghana, and you don't just wake up that you are a travel and tour consultant. A whole lot of people have been duped. I know it's the same in Kenya, it's same in South Africa and most African countries. They will come all in the name of helping you travel, and in the long run, they will take your money and things wouldn't go well.
Yes.
So initially, when I got the office, I still needed money to purchase printers, to purchase cameras, to do the photography, the videography that we are talking about. So it was when I went to my parents, I went to them that, Mommy, Daddy, I have started my business, and here is the situation whereby I have my certificate, but I have to acquire the license. I have to purchase printers and all that. So it was then my parents also decided to lend me some money as loan. So initially, no one would like to invest in your company. Nobody would like to invest in your company unless you invest in the company by yourself.
Thank you.
A whole lot of people say we don't have money to start business, and no one is willing to support us and all that. But one thing that you have to know is you have to invest in the company first before I can even lend you money.
Yes.
So that was how come I started Majora, and God has been so grateful to us, and we have gotten this far.
I mean, the lessons I'm getting from you just now, Wisdom, your name is correct. They named you the right way. I'm telling you. Be observant. And these are the things that we teach in the Centonomy Campus Edition, because all entrepreneurs noticed something that was needed, whether it was already there, but it was being provided in a poor service, or it was not available. I think in your case, I loved that it was your problem trying to travel that you solved for other people. And that's just brilliant. So opportunities are everywhere. I love that. It's just, if you can see the problems and then invest in your own business. Don't expect someone else to invest in your business if you have not put your own time, money, energy into it. I think that's amazing. So we have a question here for you, Wisdom, from Jess. And Jess is saying, how are you staying afloat during this period of the pandemic? I mean, having in mind that travel is minimum, how are you surviving?
Wow, thank you very much for this question. Yeah, we know things hasn't been easy for the past 4 to 5 months here in Ghana, because I have my office, my headquarters here in Obuasi. Obuasi is a mining community in Ghana.
Wow.
Obuasi, I'm located in Obuasi, and that's where the headquarters of my company is. But I also have another office in Accra. Accra, since Accra is the capital of Ghana, and Accra has the only international airport in Ghana, I had to I had to get a branch there. And though things has been very tough, my Accra office currently is not running.
Yes.
My Accra office is not running for the past 4 to 5 months, and I have workers to pay. Things has been very tough, I must say. It has been very tough. But when you come to the headquarters or the head office here in Obuasi, we don't do only travel and tour. We also have our business center. We also have our photography. That's why, as an entrepreneur, it's better for you to diversify your income. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. So even as I started the travel and tour, I also decided to enter into other ventures. And I have a list of businesses that I'm also into. You see, so I don't put all my eggs in one basket. Though returns has been very low, but I'm getting some money from the photography aspect as well as the business center. And business is ongoing. Business is ongoing. Yeah, you can see even one of my camera guys, you see. And I have a list of workers who are at the other departments attending to other customers and other clients as well.
That's right. And you continue to inspire. There's a question here. How do you stand out in an already saturated market? I think travel and tours, I'm sure there are many companies in Ghana. So why is Majora standing out from the rest? What makes you stand out?
Yeah, so there are over 400 travel and tour companies in Ghana. But what's making Majora stand out is, one, as young as I am, though I wasn't having the financial capacity, and the capabilities to just compete with those global people who were already in Accra. One thing, in order for you to stand out, or in order for you to succeed in your business, you will need your families and friends to support you. Right from the onset, you can't just get up and say you are going to do adverts with a national television or a national radio station No, you have to begin selling to your families and friends. If your mom can patronize your service or your product, your brother can patronize, your friends can patronize. That is when you can also reach out to more people. So
That's right.
Comes right from the inside. Your families and friends have to support you before you can compete those global brands.
That's right. I'm telling you wisdom. I wish I had more time because the notes I'm taking. You should see my book is full. I'm telling you, I'm moving on as we go.
Okay.
Diversify your sources of income, and we talk about that not just as a business, but even as an individual. Because if all your money is coming from one source, it becomes different, and those are kind of the principles we talk about as well at the Centonomy Campus Edition. Just one more comment from you, if you don't mind. Wisdom, you're speaking to an audience across Africa and across the world. You're talking to young people who are seeing a world changing now with this whole COVID-19 situation. What are you seeing in the future? Where is your hope? Because a lot of people are losing hope. And in order to seize opportunities, I think you have to have some hope for the future. So what are you seeing as the hope, Wisdom? Inspire us.
Yeah, what am I seeing as the hope in regards to which angle?
In terms of business, in terms of the opportunities for young people.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for this opportunity once again. Yeah, now I see globally all business are facing crisis. Almost from manufacturing to distribution to production to service business consulting, we are all facing this global crisis. But one thing that I can tell the young people listening to me is that as a business person, you have to just start small. You don't just start as big as where Majora has gotten now. You have to just start small. Though most entrepreneurs say start small, and that's the reality. If you don't start small, how sure are you even to start? So you have to just start small. And one thing that I'll also tell the youth listening to me that just after starting small, you also have to think about delaying gratification. Though you will start business, you will begin to make money. It's not a time for you to also increase your spending habits. No. You have to invest the money that comes to you into your company in order to grow your company. I started Majora very tiny, and in a space of 3 years, I have been able to move outside the borders of even Obuasi to Accra, and I'm even thinking of getting other offices across Africa and other places. So if the revenue also begins to come, you have to delay gratification, think more about investing in your company, and that's bootstrapping. And also one thing that they also have to know is they have to think big. You have to think big. Now that Majora Group has been recognized in Forbes Africa, what is the way forward? It's up to me to think big. It's even more challenging to me because now I am an inspiration to the youth in my community. At age 26, Forbes Africa has been able to recognize me. I remember the very day that I received the message that I've been shortlisted, I couldn't sleep for 48 hours. Why? Because I saw it to be very challenging to me. So it's all about you to also dream big and just push forward, and there will be a breakthrough someday. That's all.
Wisdom. You said start small but think big. I hope everyone is taking notes. Do participate in the chat box. I'm sure there are a couple of questions that you can be able to respond to there directly. You're welcome to do so. But from me, it is a big thank you so much for your time. You're truly an inspiration across Africa and across the world. That's amazing. And your story, I hope everyone is going to be looking online to see what that story is and the growth of Majora Group, because I think there's a lot to learn from there, and your passion for employment, I think that's amazing. So thank you so much. God bless. We'll continue to interact as we go.
It's a pleasure speaking to you too, sir.
Amazing, amazing. I told you guys you're in for something great. You're seeing the same principles that function anywhere in the world will function where you are. You're hearing stories of Ghana, Uganda, Kenya. Wherever you are, the principles that we've been talking about, looking for opportunities, start where you are, start small, start with what you know, but also always thinking about how to grow from that position. Wow, my notebook is just getting full. I hope everyone else is following along. Thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in on Facebook. We really appreciate that, because there's, I mean, the quality of speakers that we have today is outstanding. This is just great. So I'm so happy because our next speaker is a good friend of Centonomy. We've partnered together before. We worked on a couple of projects at the same time, and in Kenya and across Africa, we know Adelle Onyango, because she knows how to make herself heard. I still remember the very first time I saw her visit our office. You knew Adelle had arrived. She has that personality. When you say a media personality, it's not just that she's in media. She has a personality for media. She's an amazing podcaster and the founder of the Adelle Onyango Initiative. Adelle has a passion for young people. She has been speaking about these things. In fact, I don't even want to put words in her mouth. Adelle, I know you're somewhere in the room, so I want to invite you to just join me. Sorry, I think I muted you by mistake.
I think I unmuted it. Can you see me?
Go.
Yay! Hi, how are you?
I am exhausted. It's been a long week. And
Yeah.
And it's still just getting started. I have a session immediately after this.
Wow.
With Safaricom, talking to young businesses, which is going to be amazing. So it's a busy week, and then classes have started this week. If I look like I have bags under my eyes, that's why.
It's okay, we can't see you. Umeka concealer.
Very good, very good. Let me add some darkness to the room. Maybe that's better.
But thank you so much. I've been listening, like I'm sitting here working, but I've been listening to the entire conversation, and it's been great. So thanks for hosting this.
I'm telling you, these young guys across Africa, the story is the same. It's inspirational. Yeah. There's opportunities for growth. There's opportunities, even as a young person, to be able to get into the workforce, to get into the businesses that you'd like to do. It's that we must grab the opportunities. We must prepare for them, and then when they come, actually take the risk. I love that. That's what Shamim had said early on, and you hear the same attitude when you listen to Wisdom. They're the kind of people who grab opportunities. I know you've grabbed a few, so please share your insights on how we can seize opportunities as young people, even in a season like this. It's over to you now.
Yeah. So I'll start with non-COVID season first, and then go into like adapting to this madness, right? And I think based on my experience, the two places you must start from, or can start from, is from first your own story, because I think in business and in life in general, we're conditioned to believe that only certain stories are worthy of, like, this is what a real life looks like, right? But we're all going through our own individual challenges, triumphs, experiences as well. And in those stories and experiences, there is an opportunity to build solutions, right? So for me, that's if I look at like the Adelle Onyango Initiative and starting that, and the work that I do for like survivors of rape, and even for the youth, right? It's based on my story. It's based on saying, okay, when I was young, before I went into campus, I did like a job shadow thing. It was very Kenyeji, right? Because I knew I wanted to study public relations, but I didn't know what it was like on the field. So when I did a couple of months at Jinadine's public relations company, I was like, oh my, and at this point I was 16. So then I knew for sure this is what I want to do. So coming to the Adelle Onyango Initiative, creating that, because our education system doesn't have that allowance, right? I was like, this is something that really, it's a program that needs to be there even before you get into campus. It's a program that can help somebody who can't afford to go into campus to learn through experience, not that saying you don't have the funds to sit in a classroom or whatever should lock you out. it's something that you can create and can help young people. So for me, it's like, how do you draw from your own story to create solutions that help not only you, but your community? Which I think is like a role for everyone. I was just reading up on active citizenship, which is something that Boniface Mwangi is constantly telling me about. It's like, okay, what is my role? What is my role? And you find your role through your story. The second thing I think in terms of creating things is figuring out what you're passionate about. And people always ask, well, how do I know what I'm passionate about? How do I know all of these things? And it's through two things. I think it's saying yes to a lot of things. And so I tried out, so like, let's even go from high school. I used to play netball because everybody told me, hey, you're tall. This is something you should do. I realized I hated it. Yes, I realized I hated it so much. I tried out, setting up magazines in high school. I was in the law club and the historians club, and then I realized law might not be my thing because I was like, I like championing, but all of that reading, I'm not sure.
No, I get you.
So the more the more you say yes to certain opportunities that come your way. I volunteered for so many things. This is post high school and even through campus. You start finding the things that you hate, and you start also finding the things that you love. And another thing is, if you're still enough, and I know this is going to sound so hippie, but just allow me, because that's the person that I am. If you're still enough in life, like if you remove the noise of like your squad, of everybody that is noisy around you, or the things that are noisy around you, you will know what you're passionate about, because there's a feeling like when you do that thing, you're just like, ooh, like I want to do it more. I want to do it more. And so nobody can really point out your passion to you. People can say, hey, you're good in this, that, and the other, but just because you're good in something doesn't mean it's what you're meant to be doing. It's something that comes inwardly out. And then around your passion, you create businesses around it and solutions, that would benefit the community that you live in. I think those are two massive ways that you can kind of zero in on your passion.
I love that, Adelle, because we talk about it in the Centonomy Campus Edition specifically as a skill for growth, where we say companies are always looking for value and don't necessarily always have the money to take you in. But if you were offered your value, they would take you. And, as you went and said, I'm here to help. You don't have to pay me. I'm just going to show up. And if you show enough value, people will let you hang about. Esther, who runs our campus edition, she joined Centonomy just like that. She came on board as a volunteer, was helping out. And before we knew it, we didn't want to let her go. And that's why she's running the whole program as it is. So volunteer, do internships. I loved what you said, job shadow. Go and see someone like who you respect and you'd like to be part of it. I told you I'm taking down notes. I'm with you.
I can see.
I loved what you said about your passion, that it is a process of discovery. And I love that, because if you're discovering something, it's not obvious. You have to actually go through a process in order to recognize what it is. I love that. It's not always obvious. So, I mean, you found yourself in some really great spaces, especially around the type of people that you're around. How did you get yourself into the kind of network that you have? I've seen photos of you online with the creme de la creme. How in the world?
You should say the creme de la creme was taking photos with me.
I'm sorry, I revert and say they had an opportunity. No, I'm playing.
I'm playing. But honestly, to be quite frank, I think my story is just a testament of like passion and hard work, like putting in the time, right? And then just trusting my gut and just being vocal about things, even when you're the singular voice doing that, right? Which could cost you. It could cost you job opportunities. It could cost you in terms of like cyberbullies and whatever. But just saying that I believe in this and I'm going to be vocal about it, because I never knew anyone in media before. Neither did my late mom know. In fact, only when I got in and after she'd passed away, that people were like, oh, wait, that was your mom. Oh, I knew her. So I never ever got like this culture of doors open because people, you know, parents know each other, you know, and it's always an uncle. I know an uncle who, so it was literally just saying yes. So if we start from like campus, I was at USIU, and I still love poetry, writing poetry. At the time I used to perform more than write, and I was invited on one of the radio shows to perform my poetry, and it was those shows for like woke people. I had my two dreadlocks at the time, and I was like, chat down Babylon. And then they just kept calling me back onto the show. I never knew anything to do about media. I remember I said I was studying public relations, so I didn't know broadcast media, right?
That's right.
But I kept going back because I was like, why not? And so coming back to when 1FM was setting up, they got one of the demos from that show because the guy I was doing the show with really wanted to get into radio, and they called me up, and so they asked me, can you do radio? Please note, I haven't studied radio. And I said yes, because that's another thing that I've learned right now, especially now that I'm running my own podcast as a startup, is that anything that you don't know can be learned.
Yes.
And you just need to be teachable, right? And so that's literally how I got into media. And then being on 1FM, we did not have an SMS line, we didn't have a phone line. The only things we had were the internet. That's how I had to learn how to use Twitter and Facebook. Then Kiss took notice of me because it's back to what you said in terms of value. They saw, hey, we don't really understand this social media thing, but we're seeing this hashtag here. Who is this chick? And that's how I got pushed onto Kiss. So I you know, and you know, at all of those levels, there's a kind of level of visibility that you're getting. And so I'm using it to talk about women's things, women's rights, talking about youth. And then because it's the internet, you have a global audience. So that's how I ended up being, you know, invited in 2017 to the BBC's conference, which was talking about young people and access to information on the internet and how do we keep them safe. And I was talking about cyberbullying. I wasn't even there in a capacity of I'm a radio presenter. I was there because this is a woman who stood up for women's rights and then effectively got trolled for it. How can we add her voice to ensure she's part of the solution building? But while I was there, I said yes to so many things. They were like, oh, we need you to moderate a panel. I was like, I can do it. And I had one day, to like read up on the panelists and whatever, but I was in my room, like reading up and all of those things. And I did it. And so, you know, the people in the room were like, oh, okay, so she can also moderate panels. She can also do ABCD. So it's, and being that visible, they then said when, you know, Kate Middleton and Prince William were coming to the what's it called, to the venue, they said, oh, we would love you to be able to receive them when they come. And I was with like people who own media houses, people who, and I remember standing there and I'm just wondering, where am I here? Like, I've just like barely scratched the surface, but it's always just to keep moving forward and believing in what you're doing, saying yes to certain opportunities, being very vocal about the things you're passionate about, because now with the internet, you do not know who you're reaching, even without them leaving a comment or whatever. They're watching.
That's right. I mean, I've been following your development along the way, and I loved what you said there. If all the young people in the room, myself included, I love that you pushed us to say yes. You know, because
Yeah.
And you're seeing the responses. I hope you're seeing them in the chat box down there. Guys, they're taking notes like me.
Yes, I am.
Anything you don't know can be learned, but you have to have a
Honestly, I
teachable
truly
spirit.
believe you do, because I just finished rebuilding my website. Never in a million years would I think I would be understand how to do that. But I was like, I'm running this podcast. It's my small startup. Do I really want to spend, 30, 50, 60K on a website, which honestly in my profession is like your CV. It's like a digital CV. I was like, do I want to? But I'm like, surely with all this internet, there's no way that I can do it. There must. And so you just kind of have to be patient with yourself, but be open to learning.
No, another thing that's really come out, and I've seen it in a couple of questions that came before. I know Esther had shared some of these things, is, Adelle, you seem so sure of yourself. When we see you in front of the screen, you seem so sure of yourself. And one of the issues that I remember being young, and the truth of the matter, it never really goes away, is you can doubt yourself. So how do you get so confident? Because the action of seizing an opportunity means that you have the confidence that you could back it up. And you seem like such a confident person. How do you do that?
Wow. First, I'll start by saying my podcast is called Legally Clueless, not for show, but it is because I am clueless. I'm just winging it. I may appear more confident than the next person, but as much as I read up on all of these things, there's still the element of doubt, especially because I'm in a breakthrough kind of position where I'm really, alongside very many other Kenyan podcasters, at a place where we're redefining what media and audio content looks like. So of course you're wondering, am I a mad person for thinking this kind of work? And I still doubt myself. There are moments where I think I had a moment this week where I was telling my husband, I was like, I feel like I'm mad. Like inside, my gut is telling me, keep going. But your mind is like, are you, you're going in this direction a bit too much, and you're doubting yourself. So that doubt is still there for sure. How I maneuver it is, one, I'm constantly reading. I'm in a space which is fairly new, especially on the continent. So I'm constantly reading about what's happening in different spaces as far as podcasts are concerned, as far as new media, as far as distributors that are there. I'm sitting down. In fact, when I started my podcast, I sat down with a young Zambian guy in Kenya who has a firm that basically consults. Okay, cool. That consults for startups and kind of helps them build up.
Okay. Yes, he helps you to build.
Yes, I am. So just build your startup, and it's basically a consultancy. But I came to him and I told him, I understand that my brand, I have to look at it as a business. B, my podcast, I have to look at it as a business.
That's right.
So there's a lot I can borrow from traditional business models and kind of like change up for this new podcast field. But I need to know. And I found that I'm more scared and doubtful when I don't know.
That's right.
But once I read up and earn, and arm myself with knowledge, I can be able to say, hey, I'm scared of ABCD happening. But wait, I know a program that helps with this, that, and the other. So how can I use that program to kind of figure out this thing that I'm scared of? And I think the third thing is, which all my friends say, I love apps. I believe in apps. I trust. Like I have tons of apps.
Okay.
And so I have one app which I think could help. And I know this is mainly about business, but if you're not fully there mentally, I really don't think you can be there for your business. And so there's an app called Mindshift, and it has this thought journal where you write down your kind of like your thoughts.
Wow.
And there's one that if we have time, let me just kind of open it, because I always share this one, and I think it was from October last year.
Yes.
And
yes,
I
yes.
share it because I'm like, please, people, believe and understand that what do you call this? I'm also going through the same thing. Sorry, I can't multitask. So
It's okay. It's okay.
it was October 10th on this app. I wrote, I'm worried that my projects will fail, that I don't have a clear roadmap to my vision, and that there's no space for me. That's word for word what I wrote.
Wow.
And what this app does, it makes you rethink and reword all of these things. So things like, I'm worried that my project will fail. It asks you, so what are you doing to reduce the chance of your projects failing? And that's when I'm like, actually, I'm just here sitting on my bed worrying. I actually could be looking into how to ensure this failure is less likely. And it then asks you to rewrite the statement. So it becomes then, I'm worried that I'm not 100% sure I shall fail. I will always figure this out. You can't predict the future. And if there's no space for yourself, make your own space. So that's what my statement then became. The app, I can see John Karanja asking, it's called Mind Shift.
Yeah.
And being the Kenyan that I am, yes, it is free. We love freebies.
Not just Kenyans. This is a global
but
thing.
Yeah,
now.
so it's just creating tools around you and systems that can come in when you feel that fear or the doubt, because I don't think the fear goes away.
That's
ever.
right.
It's just, how do you ensure the fear doesn't win?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And I think I've seen it over and over again. When you doubt yourself and you walk in with doubt, the likelihood of failure is so much more. And so by trying over and over again, even if you fail, what you're doing is learning to see that failure is not the end of the world. So it stops being that blockage that's there, that you're able to move past and offer your best self in each situation. So I think time is not with us. We want to end up pretty shortly. Give us a bit of advice that from your perspective, not even from my questions now. These are amazing young people all around the world who are asking, how do I seize opportunities? A couple of points that maybe you might want to share with them.
Yeah, okay. And these are really based on just where I am even just right now in life.
That's
and
right.
So the first thing I would say is that you've got to be an active citizen. And I say this because if we look at the continent and even just Kenya, we have a youth bulge, right? And so we have more young people than ever, yet they make up on the continent 60% of the unemployed people. And we can say, hey, this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem. But we as young people, since we are the majority, have voted in certain people with a mandate to change these things. So as an active citizen, you need to hold these leaders accountable. You need to be on their Facebook pages. I think my MCA right now is just bored of me, but I have questions, right? We've employed you. So it's to ask certain questions and to say, what about the youth who cannot afford transport to go for an internship that is non-paid? What are we doing for them? What are we doing for the youth in terms of access to funding for businesses or access to programs like Centonomy, right? What are we doing to ensure that they have access to that so that we build the youth capacity? And it only makes sense in terms of numbers. If you build their capacity, you are building the capacity of the country and of the continent, right? So I would call on all young people to be active citizens. I think I wasn't as active as I could have been in my younger days because I didn't understand the correlation between news at 9 p.m. and the issues affecting me between 6 and 8 p.m., right? But there is a correlation. So I would say that. The second thing that I would urge young people to do because you are the majority, you have the solutions. I think about first the speakers that we've heard who are creating solutions that, yes, are earning them a profit, but are also solving community issues.
That's right.
I think about Ruth Kaveke. She's a young girl who inspires me. She's from Mombasa, and she's teaching young girls how to code. She's built an entire organization around it. There's a guy called Gerald I met, and he has his business is teaching Kenyan women how to use sustainable energy that is good for the environment, good for their health, and he's still making his profit, but he's also solving an issue in the community. So if you look at, is there a way that you can earn a livelihood from your business, but still also be part of moving the community forward? That would be, spectacular. And then I think the third thing is collaboration.
Wow.
There is power in collaborating as young people. There is power in bringing on your friend who understands tech, your other friend who understands PR, your other friend who understands. You're building capacity within you, and you're building networks. Yeah. So it is good to socialize. I absolutely have no problem with that. But if you could spare 5% of the socializing time and the topics you're talking about, what's trending, what series are dope, which is absolutely good, spare some minutes in that to talk about what are your passions? Like, do we even ask our friends, what are you passionate about? What is your plan? And then also to think about, your plan is very similar to mine, and like this, so we just do something together, right? To build ourselves and possibly build other young people and the community as well. There is a culture of holding knowledge and holding our ideas. I understand it because ideas have been stolen and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But amongst yourselves, if you can find a way to collaborate as young people with even other organizations. I mean, for example, the Adelle Onyango initiative has never once been funded. The fundraiser we did last year, it was Kenyans who funded a particular program. We have been built, and our programs have been built on collaborations. Yeah. There's power in that. And I think those are the top three things. I think active citizenship, collaboration, like that's major. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you so much, Adelle. As always, so insightful, so inspirational. You should see the comments coming through on Facebook. I don't know if you're also seeing them as well.
Yes, I have it open.
You have fans. You have many fans, and they're
just so much.
They're here for your sake. One day when I grow up, I'll be like you. But I think it's
amazing.
I think it's so important for us to share insights like this, to continue conversations like this, because we see the end result often. We see the end result when we see Wisdom and his business, Shamim and her business. We see Angie and her consultancy, and we see you, and we are seeing the end result of many years of hard work, pushing through. Even as 26, 22-year-olds, they've been working 5-6 years to get the businesses to the places that they want to be.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to get caught up in I want to be there and forget the process that got them there. So here, it's are always so exciting. As always, thank you so much. Please do jump in on the chat box and on the comment box on Facebook.
I will right now, actually.
There who are waiting to hear from you. And I wanted to just tell them a little bit more about Centonomy Campus Edition. Lots of love, Adelle. Thank you. Thank you,
guys. Thank you so much.
No worries. So, guys, these online sessions are so meaningful, and we continue to really enjoy your participation and the work the fact that you've given us your time. So we don't want to waste your time at all. So I want to tell you a little bit about our program at Centonomy, the Centonomy Campus Edition. This is designed for young people. When we say young people, we're saying on average, the group that we see is age 18 to 24. That's why we call it Campus Edition. Although you don't have to be in university to be part of this, but we're trying right now, as we said at Centonomy, to get this knowledge of wealth creation out across the world. because it has to become a culture. And without the knowledge, it's not possible to grow. So that the program is designed this way. It's designed to build your personal financial management skills, because it's a skill set to be able to keep money and to manage it. It's a skill set to save and invest, and we have to do both, save and invest. And those skill sets are the ones that we begin to teach and to grow, and even give tools in the program that we have here. The second module is a wonderful module, my favorite one, called Time Value of Money and Debt as well, because what it allows you to do, the time value of money principles, is to look into the future and try and see what will things cost in the future? What will my investments add up to in the future? And I think that will be truly amazing if you can be able to come into the class to learn that. Then if we could learn as young people how debt works, we might find ourselves overcoming some of the problems that our parents and older generations have gone through, getting trapped by debt. Debt can be a useful tool, but it can also be a trap. Getting loans, borrowing can be a trap if you don't know how it works. Then we discuss in detail, how do we save and invest? Because it's so important to be able to understand what are the opportunities that I have now, even with my limited resources. Maybe they may not be limited, but for many young people, especially across Africa, resources are limited. Where can I start? Where can I invest that $1 a day? Maybe that 100 shillings a day. What can I do with that? Then we have to now begin to seriously consider, how are we generating an income? We generate an income, as you've heard here from the discussion we've had, in two ways: entrepreneurship or through a career. And thank you so much, Angie, again, for your inspiration and how you grew your career, as well as Adelle, and also the entrepreneurship stories that are there. But if you enter a game which you don't know the rules to, the likelihood is you will lose. And that's why we're trying to get the rules of entrepreneurship to as many people as possible, so that you have a better chance of winning. I said chance, I didn't say you will always win. And if you talk to any of these entrepreneurs in the screen, it's not been a smooth ride. There's some things that have worked, some things that have failed, but entrepreneurship is that journey. Also career planning. What are the skill sets to get that job? When Adelle was mentioning internships, volunteering, job shadowing, these are tools that you use to get yourself in the door so that you can learn and be able to grow. And we teach that in the Centonomy campus edition. We also spend some time on mentorship and have sessions like this, and now with much smaller groups, so that you can ask more detailed questions to mentors like Adelle, like Shamim, like Wisdom and Angie as well, so that we can grow. And that's a major part of what we do in the Centonomy campus edition. I just wanted to let you know that the class begins on the 20th of June, 2020. So it's coming up real soon. There's a contact on the screen. If you would like to find out a lot more about it, you can reach Esther at centonomy.com, or you can call that number in Kenya on +254 795 359 You can write it down. I'll give you a moment to write it down. So you can email Esther at centonomy.com. She's the program manager for Campus Edition. She's the one who put this amazing, amazing session together. I've been learning, Esther. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And you can be able to find out a lot more about the program from there. Setting off on a journey of financial freedom while young, 17 to 24, 18 to 24. All you need is to attend the class once per week on Saturdays from 9 to 12 p.m. East African time. 9 to 12 p.m. East African time. Classes begin, as I said, 20th June. And that's all you need, that one session per week, and you go home and implement and begin to put to use all the programs that we have. The program fees and payment plan. Today you have because you've given us your time, you have an amazing opportunity to register today at only 500 shillings. It's usually 1,000 bob, but we're giving 500 off today just for that. If you're outside of Kenya, please reach out to Esther and she'll give you details on payments from outside of Kenya. But those in Kenya, it's 500 shillings to register. And then the tuition fee is now, excuse me, 13,600, but you can pay it weekly, 4,200, 4,200, 4,200 per week, just to make it as easy as possible. And during this whole time of COVID-19, there's a 20% lockdown discount. You'd have been paying 17,000, but it's all the way down to 13,600. Those in Kenya, you can use the M-Pesa pay bill, which is 986850. And the account number is your name followed by CE, which stands for Campus Edition. So your name followed by CE, which stands for Campus Edition. And I'm telling you, this has changed so many lives. You should go on our YouTube channel and see the testimonials for those who've been through the program. It will begin to set you on your journey of wealth creation. So I want to just give a huge thank you once again to Angie, a huge thank you to Shamim. Thank you so much to Wisdom and to Adelle for giving us their time during this moment. And I know they're still in here, so I'll take 1 or 2 questions so that we end exactly at 1 p.m. Esther, unless I've missed something, Esther is our head of the Campus Edition program. Esther, you can come on screen now and we wind this up. In case I missed a question on the chat box or a hand up somewhere, Facebook as well, help me out so that we capture them.
Yeah, so I'm currently so checking the comments on Zoom. Maybe you could just explain the installments again.
No
because
problem.
someone is asking 4,200 for a day per week.
Yes. So the program is?
Sorry?
Yes, take them through that costing. So the program, we go through 6 modules.
Yeah, 6 modules. The registration fee is 1,000, which is discounted today for 500, and the balance then is 12,600. If you'd like to pay the full amount at once, that's okay. If you'd like to pay in installments, we advise that you pay in 3 installments of 4,200 for the first 3 weeks, just so that you can clear your tuition fee before the 4th module, because that's when now we start preparing your certificate. So it's not 4,200 per day that you attend. It's just for the 3 weeks if you would like to pay in installments. Yes.
That's great. So there are 6 modules, but we ask you that you pay in the first 3 weeks so that you can get through the payment as early as possible. All right?
Yeah.
And then I was just showing the 6 modules that are there on the screen.
Okay.
Principles of financial management, time value of money and debt, savings and investment, entrepreneurship, career planning, and mentorship. Those are the 6 that we go through. And then be able to make those payments as early as possible. You can even pay in full beforehand.
Yeah, and then the other question is above 24 years, is it still viable for you? Yes, it depends. Just write an email to me to esther@centonomy.com and then I can guide you through it. Yeah, let me just type it in the chat box. Yeah.
Oh, I've just seen Emmanuel. Thank you, Emmanuel Mutugi. I saw your compliment there. I really appreciate that. Sometimes, you know, you forget that it is work to moderate this. And I see Emmanuel comments there. I appreciate what you have said there.
Yeah, I think maybe Waithaka, you can close, you can say your final remarks.
No worries, no worries. As we've said and you've heard from each one of the speakers, and you can continue in the chat box, especially on Facebook and through the hashtags that we've been using today. If you saw the hashtag seizing opportunities, hashtag Centonomy Campus Edition, and hashtag wealth creation, you'll begin to see some of those conversations continue after this session. But we want you to seize opportunities while you're young, and the only way to do so is to go for them. You've heard, take that risk, step out, prepare yourself, and you will be able to achieve the goals that you have. You've seen lots of young people on this session who are achieving their goals, but they're only doing it because they stepped out. They took that leap of faith. They did the study, they did the research, they prepared themselves and then stepped out. And that's the only way to do it. So just a huge thank you from me and Centonomy as a whole. We hope to see you in class on the 20th of June. It's going to be amazing. You'll see a huge array of people in the session, and we'll be having so much fun together as we learn and grow and build wealth. Esther, I'm so thankful for this opportunity. You did an amazing job putting together such a great panel. God bless you for the work. See you guys later.
Thank you, Waithaka. All right, thank you very much, Waithaka, for moderating the session. Thank you to all our amazing speakers who've shared amazing insights, and we hope that everyone has been able to learn a few things and you've written even the notes, and I hope you'll implement what you've learned. We've come to the end, and I'd like to wish you a good afternoon. Don't forget to sign up for the Campus Edition program. The 500 bob discount is valid till midnight. Yeah, so in case of anything, just write an email to me, esther@centonomy.com. In case you're having any issue, you would like to join the class, yeah, so just write to me an email or the phone number, even WhatsApp works, and I'll be able to get back to you.